And good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special Friday night edition of SBN College Football Saturdays. So, for those of you wondering, why are we doing it on a Friday night? Well, to explain that a little bit is that tomorrow, for me at least, I've got a busy day planned out for myself. And so I probably won't be able to actually do anything until I do the stream tomorrow night at 6:30 for BYU in Arkansas. So I decided, why not do a 6 o'clock version of SBN College Football Saturdays here on a Friday night? And so what we've got is we got SEC Wraparound right now coming up right here. Derek's with me. He'll get into some of the topics in just a minute. And then college football wraparound will be right after. So, of course, we have, just like normal with SEC wraparound, we got some questions. Also, and then we got topics we'll talk about. Also, we have Colton. He's going to join us through SEC wraparound because if you remember during the Tennessee-Virginia game, there was a planned debate. And we didn't know when it would happen. But it's happening tonight, folks. So you want to stay here for this. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And so we will see when he gets in. It shouldn't be too much longer. But, of course, we will see. So let's go ahead, Derek. How are you today?
Great. I'm always glad to be on the show, and I love doing this every weekend, or day before the weekend. So, love doing this. Would like to keep on doing this.
All right. Sounds like Colton's about here. He is. Colton is here and ready to debate. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, we do have to get into the to our questions. So, the first one is, what college did Eli Manning play for? So, is there anything?
It was an SEC college that I made sure that I picked one that was a person that played in the SEC. That was not an easy give me. So.
All right, I have a question.
Yes.
Am I allowed to answer this? Because I know this.
No.
I can't answer
You can answer it later.
Oh, okay.
Let the viewers give some time to guess it.
Oh, okay.
And then, so our next question is, who was Tennessee's season opener in 1998? So, anything to add, Derek?
No, not really. Just it's a non-conference team. It is not somebody in the SEC.
All right. So, Colton, Derek, we got our first topic. And it's actually pretty cool. So, So starting out tonight, we want to talk about Alabama and Texas.
Oh, no.
So, of course, I already gave my take on the game Wednesday night. So for the next few minutes, I'm just going to let y'all go at it about what y'all think about the game, what y'all thought about the game. So, Colton, since it's your first time and since you're our guest here on SEC Wraparound, how about you take the spotlight by going first with our topic, Alabama, Texas.
All right. So I did not know we were talking about this. If I knew we were talking about this, I would have had a whole list of PowerPoint. I probably have a TV behind me, a PowerPoint display. Why Jalen Milroe is the worst quarterback ever and should be fired. I'm not saying should be benched or what. He should be fired. Take away everything. Take his shoulder pads, take his cleats, take his socks, take his pants, take everything. I heard today that he's being benched. I couldn't be happier. Don't know who's starting. Couldn't be worse than him. And then I don't have anything to say about Texas. They're going to get crushed by Oklahoma.
Oh, you are crazy.
Nick
You are
Saban.
crazy.
Nick Saban. I've lost all my respect for him. I will never root for Alabama again. I'm disappointed. I'm about to cry. That's how disappointed I am.
So let me say something about that. So, in case you're never going to root for Alabama again, are you going to be rooting for Auburn whenever they play in the Iron Bowl this year?
No, I'm not watching that game.
So,
I'm too disappointed.
So you're going to just be skipping the games that you know Alabama's going to lose?
No, I'm skipping the games I don't care about.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Where did he go?
Yeah, Derek, what's your take on the Alabama Texas game?
Well, I think it was a great game, and
Nope. Wrong.
where's your screen even, Colton? And mine's all glitchy, so
Yeah, he's on here. You're good.
mine's all glitchy.
Yeah. I will say, folks, for those watching, if you here at Hartselle, of course, we've had some rain, so if it is a little glitchy, that is part of what is going on. There is some rain, so rain does affect our internet. So, so Derek,
So back to the Texas Alabama game.
yeah.
So I thought it was a great game. Texas played a great game. As y'all know, I'm a big Auburn fan, in case y'all have been watching the videos. And I expected Alabama to win this game. I did not expect Texas to win. I was hoping Texas to win, but I did not think they could, because I never thought Texas could come into Alabama and beat Alabama. So it was a great game. What I saw
Wrong.
was Alabama's offense was could not play because, like Colton said, Jalen Milroe was terrible. And
Right.
we have Colton, who answered the question to the Eli Manning question, but. So he was
You
correct.
said
It
let the
was Ole
viewers.
Miss.
You said to let the viewers guess, so I decided to be a
You
viewer.
guessed already, so I had to give it to him.
You said let the viewers guess, so I guess.
Yes, you were a
I'm a
viewer
regular.
then. So be quiet, Colton. Get out of here.
You be quiet.
Ooh.
This is my
Okay,
show
okay.
now. This is my show now.
Okay.
I'm stealing your job.
All right. So basically, that what they were saying was that Alabama just couldn't. The offense didn't click. Texas just imposed their will, took advantage of the opportunity that Alabama gave them, because Alabama did give them a pretty good opportunity to come in there and win the game. So, we do have 2 questions to get to, and then we're going to get into Auburn and Cal. But first, our first question is, how many national championships did Georgia win in the 20th century? So this is the 1900s. For those of you who may be wondering, what is the 20th century? So, Derek, is there anything to add on that?
I can't even remember what the question was. So, and the answer. So I have nothing to say about it.
All right. So, and then our next one was, what first-year coach won the national championship for Kentucky in 1998? So,
this is going to be a hard answer for y'all. It's going to be a hard question.
It's a guy named Bob.
We will, of course, the viewers have a chance to answer this. So,
Wait, did I get it?
we will see if you got it right or wrong.
Okay.
We got to let the viewers have a chance.
All right. So, shifting gears, we're going to talk about Auburn and Cal. And so, I believe I can't remember. I think I did cover this. So I'm gonna let the two of y'all and Derek. You can go first this time. You kind of. I mean, like you said, you're an Auburn fan, so you have a good grasp on what this game was like. Also, Colton should have a good grasp on it as well. But I'll let Derek go first because I'll let Colton take the first question. So, Derek, what did you think about Auburn and Cal?
So all I gotta say is go Auburn. Auburn's offense was pretty much terrible. Auburn's defense was great. Auburn's offense, they can't be putting Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford in at the game because Robbie Ashford is a run quarterback only, and they know that, so he's going to be running the ball. And Peyton Thorne is a throwing quarterback, so they know that. So they're going to have to make some changes where it's one player playing at one time, one game, unless that player gets hurt. So that's one input. And also, case Auburn can not get their offense going, it's going to be a long season. But Auburn, I did see a great impact on their defense. I think Auburn's defense is going to be a great team this year, a great defense this year. So that's all I got to say. So, Colton, go ahead.
So, of what I saw of the game, California would have definitely won the game had they executed on key moments. In my opinion, there's 3 or 4 field goals that definitely should have went in that their kicker messed up. And I'm not blaming the kicker. Kickers are people too. But when you're not a good kicker, it's hard to believe you're a person. So it was hard to watch for me. Plus, it was like midnight, so I was like half asleep. So
yeah, it ended up going off like 2 o'clock in the Sunday morning. So it was definitely a late game because Vandy started at 10 and Auburn ended at 2, and that was like 15 hours of straight SEC football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
So,
Auburn's offense definitely, they let California look better than they actually were, and I felt like Auburn should have lost the game. I think California just gave it to them at the end.
yep, and right here, Chris Naylor is asking a question. Can you repeat the questions where
Okay.
he can have a chance to answer?
I think, let's see. If it's the trivia questions, we've got what college did Eli Manning play for? Then we've got who was Tennessee's season opener in 1998. Then we've got how many national championships did Georgia win in the 20th century? And then what first-year coach won the national championship for Kentucky in 98? So I can go ahead and put that in the chat for you so that you can have that. So let me real quick. Okay. Let's see. So there's that one. And then tennis.
So I believe it's time for us to go to the next group of questions, or are we going to do one more recap thing?
Well, because this Auburn and Cal is supposed to be at like 6:14, the way we scheduled it out. We can go ahead and y'all can have a couple minutes. If there's any other SEC game that y'all saw that y'all want to talk about, I'll let Colton have the floor to begin with. Any kind of SEC topic that you've seen, Colton, that really could be concerning, or you think the SEC's done good with? What's your opinion?
Overall, this season, the SEC is really started to take kind of a backseat to the Pac-12, which is weird to me because you see teams like USC, Colorado, who are getting a lot more media attention. I just find that very weird because usually, if you're in the SEC, that's all anyone wants to talk about. And I've definitely seen like teams like Florida hasn't looked quite as brilliant as I thought they would, and it's just weird. This year's been very different, and there really hasn't been many good games so far. It's all been like blowouts or upsets. That's all really I have.
So, not to interrupt you or anything, Colton, but right here, Chris Naylor said Kentucky didn't win the football championship in 1998, and that might be the wrong year, but I can't remember what year it was. So I'll have to check and see in a minute.
Right. And I can go ahead and get that answer real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Of course, I'll just give you the year to the viewers, and then we will go from there. Okay.
So I'll go ahead and talk about the SEC, what I've thought about it this year.
All right.
So I think the SEC has had a step back, but I think it's going to be this week. Georgia is going to have a little test against South Carolina. And then next week, Auburn plays at Texas A&M, and Alabama plays against Ole Miss at home. So everybody in the SEC that pretty much everybody likes is usually will be a good game. There will be good games next week to give them test. But I was kind of surprised that Alabama did lose to Texas a little. But next year, Alabama just has to get used to it because Texas and Oklahoma are moving to the SEC. And Colton, you were crazy to say that Oklahoma's going to be Texas. I think Texas is going to have a good chance at winning the national championship this year. So,
okay, after one good win in 2 weeks, that's absurd to even say because like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are two powerhouses. Texas only beat Alabama because Jalen Milroe and bad play calling. Texas is not a good team. Texas, they're a 10-2 team at best. And anyone who thinks that Texas can win a national championship, you need to go back and look at form of old Texas teams. They always have a good start and never finish. People are saying that this can be another Joe Burrow situation. Quinn Ewers is not Joe Burrow at all. I mean, I've watched this guy. He's Walmart.
I'm not saying Quinn Ewers is Joe Burrow, but I'm saying Texas does have a good chance at it.
No.
Because Texas is a good team, I think.
No.
It's saying something for Texas to go into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. And
did you watch the game?
You can't say that in case Texas and Oklahoma is going to be a good game. You're crazy because Texas is just going to beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma has.
Okay. You said Auburn versus Alabama is gonna be a good game. If you don't think Texas versus Oklahoma is a good game, then you're crazy. Okay. Don't laugh. Yeah, okay, I'm the one who's laughing at you because Alabama and Auburn it's easy. Auburn sure lost to Cal. Auburn paid the referees probably. The referees probably had an NIL deal going on. And I'm okay. Listen, Oklahoma's quarterback, General Booty is our backup. Don't laugh at that. I'm being okay. I can't be serious. Listen. Oklahoma versus Texas will be the game of the year. You just watch, and if you think Auburn and Alabama is gonna be a good game, you need a reality check. Okay, Auburn is the worst. You're laughing. Okay, Cooper, go ahead. Change the subject. I'm sorry. The Lucky Charms called. They want their mascot back. Okay. Okay.
Hey, Lucky Charms ripped Auburn off. They got their design from Auburn, and
I know they.
in case you want to,
You look just like their mascot.
we might be able to arrange it with Cooper, where he does the Oklahoma Texas game and broadcasts it whenever they play, where you get the
That's up to Cooper.
real effect of it.
No, that's up to Cooper. But listen, Oklahoma. Okay, listen. Texas, they're not good. Alabama's just they weren't their best. It's early in the season. You can't say Texas is a good team. Same thing. You can't say Auburn's a good team. You can't say.
I'm not saying Auburn's a good team, but Auburn does have a chance against Alabama because how many times like the team that plays in the Iron Bowl usually at home is the whoever in case they're playing at home, usually that team wins. So I'm just saying it by the facts because usually that's how it is.
Well,
but I'm not saying Auburn's going to win.
Usually,
I'm just saying Auburn can get a chance in it.
Usually, if someone goes to Bryant-Denny Stadium, Alabama wins. This isn't a usual season. You can't say that. Usually, if a coach goes to a new team, they don't do good. Coach Prime. You can't say usually because it's not a formula. There's not a script. It's not scripted. You can't base this off last year because this is this year. It's a different team.
All right.
So here's something from Chris Naylor. He said Tubby Smith, and he said that Kentucky won the basketball championship with Tubby Smith. So I believe they were probably saying all of Kentucky sports. So is that correct, Cooper?
I think that is right. Oh, also, still, even though it's a basketball question, it's still SEC. It still counts. So even though we're doing a football show, we'll let it slide with it being a basketball question because, it is SEC. But
yep. And here's one more question, kind of just a replace for that one. Who was the last team to win 3 straight national championship games? So that's a good question. I know it. So there you go. That's to replace it. Even though it is not an SEC team, I'm just saying it because Georgia has a chance at winning the national championship 3 times in a row. So,
all right, and I do want to let's see, because talking about Alabama and Texas, there is one thing I'm kind of in between both of y'all, whereas I do agree with Colton in the fact that Texas has had seasons where they look good at the beginning of the season, and then about mid-season they have a losing streak, and it really derails the rest of the season. But the one thing I will say, that the one place where I actually do kind of lean more towards Derek is the fact that Texas, because most of the time when they have the big game like this, early in the season, because it was for instance, like last year, they lost to Bama at home. That was how Texas always was. But see, this year, they actually went to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. So I do think there is a difference with this Texas team. Now, early in the season, I did say they would be going to the I did say they would go to the college football playoff. But see, I do think I think this Texas team is a better team than what they have been. So I'll just leave it there. And then when it comes to Auburn and Cal, I do have some stats pulled up. to give a little bit of background to it. So Cal had 19 first downs to 12 of Auburn. And as far as fourth down efficiency, Cal was 3 of 6. Auburn was 0 of 1. Total yards, Cal was 273 to 230 of Auburn. It's incredible to see because I think Cal they dominated the majority of this game against Auburn. And really, the turnovers right here, you had 4 turnovers for Auburn, 3 for Cal. So, time of possession, Cal had that by nearly 10 minutes. So, the thing is, Auburn, for some reason, found a way to win this game, and that it's crazy to think about they actually won this game. So, of course, we will talk more about those games a little bit later.
And Chris Naylor, you did answer the question for the Tennessee game, but it is the wrong answer. You're incorrect on it.
All right, let's go ahead, and we've got 2 questions that we got to ask, and then we'll preview Tennessee and Florida. But first, all right, Auburn beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa 4 times, 1895, 1901, 2000, 2002. In those games, Auburn scored 91 total points. And so our question is, though, how many points did Alabama score in those games combined? So, is there anything to add, Derek?
You will be surprised what the score is.
All right. And then...
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek. You had a little bit...
I was just going to say something about Chris Naylor's comment. You go ahead and do that question, and then I'll tell him about it.
Okay. When was the last time Texas beat Alabama? So, and we're not Saturday when Texas went into Tuscaloosa and beat them, but it was a time before that. So, and that's been quite a while.
Yep, so, you'll be surprised how long it's been since they beat Bama.
All right. So
here's the answer to Chris Naylor's question. Answer to Chris Naylor's question. Answer. Georgia has 6 national championships in the 20th century. You are incorrect. Try again.
All right. So, we got to preview Tennessee and Florida. Pretty good game coming up tomorrow night, 6:00. And so Derek, I want to get your opinion first. What do you see happening here in this game?
I don't see Florida winning. I just think Tennessee has the overall better team, and I don't believe that Florida can beat them because Florida did lose to Utah in their first game, and then I can't remember what their last game was, but they did win. But I do not think Florida will be able to beat Tennessee. What is your thoughts, Colton?
What?
Tennessee,
what is your
Florida.
Thoughts?
Oh, sorry. I love Florida. I want to see them get the upset. I'm not a big Tennessee guy, so I want Florida to win. But I'm also not – I don't exaggerate things, and I'm pretty sure Tennessee will probably win this game. I'm not one to make crazy theories, and so I think Tennessee's going to win this game, but I want to see Florida win. I think Florida has a great coach and great program.
That's how I felt about the Alabama-Texas game last week.
Okay, then.
And so I will say that this game, to me, it just comes down to can Florida give Graham Mertz enough time? Because that was the thing against Utah, is that he didn't have enough time. If he has time in the pocket to actually to actually throw the football, then Florida's got a chance in this game. But the big thing here is if Florida's offensive line cannot protect their quarterback, I feel like this will be a Tennessee blowout. That's just my opinion. Because Joe Milton, I think he's going to do a good job. And the one thing I think because in the AP poll, Tennessee fell 2 spots because they had a 30, I think it was 30-13 that they beat Austin Peay. I'll be honest with you folks. A win is a win in college football. And in my opinion, because that's what I've done with my rankings, is that I'm not dropping a team if they win a game. Because it makes no sense to me. So, you can tell how high I'm on Tennessee. I've got them at number 5 in my rankings. So,
and you claim to be a Bama fan?
Well, I'm just saying, I think Tennessee's going to win this game.
Excuse me, are you wearing flip-flops?
No.
It seems like you're wearing flip-flops.
Well,
either way,
I don't get the joke, but so.
Either way, I think Tennessee wins this game. I think they'll probably win the game. But like I said, comes down to that Florida offensive line. So, any other comments about this game?
I don't.
Nope.
All right. So now, since Colton's here, he can actually do his first ever game picks here on SEC Wraparound. He's done game picks on college football Wraparound, but he gets to join us for one. He can join us right now. So, here is the game picks records, and Derek is actually ahead of me for the first time this season. I dropped a couple games, so gotta get back in the lead, hopefully. But if I don't, it'll be fine. But had to say the least, a pretty rough week. Just even though I still, because I believe I went 10-4 this past week. So not terrible for the SEC picks. Now, when I get to later in the show, when I get to college football wraparound and do those game picks, that was rough. That was really rough, folks. But here we go. It is time to pick some SEC games. All right, first one, Samford and Auburn. I'm going to let my analyst go first.
Who's that, Colton or me?
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Okay. I don't see Samford coming into Auburn and beating them, so I'm saying Auburn all day. So no way Samford's going to beat Auburn. Go Auburn.
All right, so I'm very big. I like to keep stuff in reality, and I don't like lying and being wrong. So Auburn has no chance. Auburn never has a chance. So don't. Hey, you're laughing. Don't laugh. Sanford will easily win this game. I don't care if Auburn has the best coach. I don't care. Y'all are laughing. When Stanford destroys Auburn, y'all invite a guest on here and you just laugh at him. Wow, what great hosts y'all are. I thought we were debating, but it seems like I'm just saying stuff and y'all are laughing. This isn't a debate.
Okay.
This is a comedy show.
So is your next saying is that Stanford's going to win the national championship this year?
Well, you think Auburn's gonna win, so I can't be that crazy.
I'm not saying Auburn's going to win the national championship.
No, sorry, you said
I'm
Texas
saying
is
Auburn
gonna win.
is going to have an okay season this year.
Listen, nothing will be stupider than saying Texas is gonna win. Next question.
Okay, I also got to get to my pick. I'm going Auburn. Also, Derek, since you're an Auburn fan, it should make you feel a bit better because I think whenever people are in a big group picking games, it doesn't always end well if all people pick the same team. So that does give you probably should give both of y'all a little bit more confidence whether you know that you feel like your team could win. All right, our next game is Akron and Kentucky. All right,
You
Colton.
go first, Colton.
I got Kentucky. I love Stoops family. I just don't think the Zips can zip in and win.
All right, Derek.
So, in case I was like Colton, I would say Akron, but I'm not like Colton. I'm going to say Kentucky all day.
You're just copying me.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying Kentucky because they're going to win
Listen,
the game.
the way you said no, I'm not. That's how someone who'd be copying me would say, "No, I'm not." You're copying me.
All right. This is an original opinion, but I'm going Kentucky in this game.
Okay, Skip Bayless, go ahead.
Okay. Our next one is Louisiana Monroe and Texas A&M.
You go first, Colton.
I got the Aggies. They need something good right now. They're playing against a gimme. It's easy.
You go ahead, Cooper.
I'm going Texas A&M. Original opinion from me.
Texas A&M, original opinion from me.
All right, y'all go ahead on this next one. I don't want to be copied again.
Okay. Vanderbilt and UNLV. Derek.
I'm going Vandy.
All right. I'm going Vandy as well. Colton?
Okay. To be fair, I had this one picked for a while. Going for Vandy.
All right. All right, next one. Alabama and South Florida. And this is in Tampa. So, Derek, I guess you can take this one first.
I'm saying Bama. I don't see South Florida beating Bama.
Okay.
I just
Colton?
knocked stuff over. Sorry, I knocked everything over. I got.
Go ahead, Cooper. Don't make it where Colton thinks we're gonna be copied.
Who's South Florida playing? I wasn't
Alabama.
listening.
Alabama.
Oh, I was gonna say South Florida because of Tampa, but Alabama's gonna win this.
Yeah, I think Tyler Buckner, he's going to come in as a starting quarterback, play incredible football, make Saban really regret not starting him in the first place because Jalen Milroe is a crappy quarterback. I don't understand why Saban even had him in at the beginning of it. And, I mean, if you go back and watch how he played against A&M, he was terrible. So, Alabama wins this game with Tyler Buckner. Pretty bad, and Saban learns his lesson here. Yeah, I didn't have a strong opinion there either. Georgia Tech and Ole Miss is our next one.
I'll pick first.
Okay.
I got Ole Miss here. I'll pick Ole Miss first. Lane Kiffin, just stay away from the mayonnaise bottles and the golf balls. Why are you laughing? I don't.
Because I get the joke.
That wasn't a joke. That was a reference.
I'm just getting the reference, man.
Okay.
All right, Derek.
I'm saying Ole Miss.
Okay. Well, this is going to be an interesting game. You got Haynes King as Georgia Tech's quarterback. He, of course, started at Texas A&M the last 2 years. Of course, got hurt in both of those years. I have a gut feeling, folks. I got Georgia Tech in this game because I think Ole Miss is going to be looking towards Alabama. I think Georgia Tech gets the upset.
Skip Bayless Jr. right here.
Who, me?
Yes, you're Skip Bayless Jr. I thought this was your show. You're just a moderator now. You're just like you're Skip Bayless Jr. You're bearded Skip Bayless. No one is laughing. No one else is laughing, Cooper.
All right. Our next one, South Carolina and Georgia. I nearly picked this game to do, but I changed my mind. last second. So, whoever wants to go first, South Carolina and Georgia.
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 I don't have to have a reason. I just had to say Georgia.
Yeah, I'd go in Georgia as well. All right, our next one, LSU and Mississippi State. Now, for a little bit of context, LSU just beat Grambling State, got their butts kicked in week 1 to Florida State. Mississippi State is 2-0, coming off a 31-24 overtime win over Arizona.
All right, I'm gonna be completely honest. I want to say Mississippi State. I love Mississippi State. Great place. Been to
Go ahead and
like,
say
one
it
of their
then.
games. Excuse me. Don't rush me. I gotta pick LSU here because LSU they lost a few years ago. Mike Leach was there. I want to say Mississippi State so they have a good year and honor Mike Leach, but I can't lie and say I think Mississippi State's gonna win this. So I got LSU.
LSU.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, probably LSU will win this game. I don't know. I don't think Mississippi State will win it. I think it's LSU. All right, our next one, Kansas State and Missouri.
Go Colton. I'm not doing it first.
Go Derek. I'm not giving it first.
I'll
Go
go with,
ahead, Cooper.
I
You
can
go.
do this one first.
Yeah.
I'm going with I'm going to go K-State on this one. I don't think Missouri will beat Kansas State, even though Kansas State's having to go to Missouri. It'll be an interesting game, but I'm going Kansas State. Okay? Whoever wants to take it next.
Not it.
Not it.
You know what? I'll go ahead. I'll just pick Kansas State here. Last year Oklahoma is in the Big 12. I want to see Oklahoma have competition. They never have competition anyway, so I just want to see them have competition for once. They're not going to have competition again anyway, so I just want one last year competition.
All right, Derek.
I'm not saying that Missouri's gonna win, but it could be a game like they did have last year against Georgia and play unexpectedly good. But I don't see Missouri winning. I'm saying Kansas State.
All right. We've got 2 more games. We got Tennessee and Florida right now. So whoever wants to pick Tennessee and Florida first, go ahead.
Top
All right,
best
I'll go
top 3
ahead.
rock person.
No, I'm going ahead. I love Florida. I want to see Florida get a win, but I'm not an idiot, and so I'm picking Tennessee here. Although, if Florida wins, you're gonna say that I picked Florida, please, Cooper. Asking for a friend.
That's not how it works. You pick Tennessee. So Derek, go ahead.
Tennessee. I don't see Florida winning.
You're just copying me.
And I'm going
No, I'm
Tennessee.
not.
I'm going Tennessee because I already had Tennessee picked anyway. All right. The last game, I cannot pick it. I'm broadcasting it Saturday night. BYU, Arkansas. So whoever wants to take it first, go ahead.
I got Arkansas on this one.
Arkansas, I don't see BYU winning. I think Arkansas is going to win all day.
You're copying me.
Go BYU.
You're literally copying
not
me.
go BYU,
You are
go
lit-
KJ
you are-
Jefferson.
Well, are you picking BYU?
No, I'm picking Arkansas. You copier.
Copy. Who picked first?
Okay, folks. SEC wraparound. This has been the debate. So if
No,
you
I
want
want to do another one. I want another shot at this.
Okay, and if you want, we will definitely bring you back for another debate because this is so much fun.
I want an hour 30 minutes of debate. I need to get my
Okay.
opinion across.
How about we do like we both broadcast the game together, and we can debate while doing the game.
I cannot confirm or deny about the jury's opinion.
Okay. Well, either way, we have ran out of time. Colton, if you want to, you can stick around. Derek's got to go because this was SEC wraparound. So we
I'm
want
gonna go.
the guest for coming on. We are going to go to a commercial break, and then it'll be time for college football wraparound right here on Saber Broadcast Network. So, again, we want to thank my guest for coming on. We will see you on the other end of this commercial break. All right, everybody. There's the game picks records. We will see how each of us do this coming week. And should be very interesting as I work on getting all this, trying to work with it. So, either way, so we're going to talk about LSU, Mississippi State a little bit, Washington, Michigan State, Penn State, Illinois, Kansas State, Missouri, Minnesota, North Carolina, BYU, Arkansas. That's going to be our topics. And then, of course, we end the night with some game picks. So, let's go ahead and dive into this LSU, Mississippi State game, which I think will be a very interesting game. Why do I think so? Because this is going to be a game that I want to see really how in the world does LSU do? Because first game, they came out the first half, looked like the better team, better than Florida State. Second half, not so good. Of course, they had the beat down to Grambling State. I'm interested to see, can LSU dominate this game? So for some stats here, when we're looking at LSU, I'm getting it pulled up real quick. Jaden Daniels this season has thrown for 615 passing yards. So he is he's 40 for 61 for 615. He's got a 65.6% completion percentage. As far as the average of his passes are going for about 10 yards. The longest pass was about 75. He's thrown 6 touchdowns to 1 interception this season, and he's been sacked 5 times for about 29, and so he's lost about 29 yards on those sacks. So, and then if you look at the run game, really not a lot to do with the run game. It's just not really been there. I mean, they've carried the ball about 75 times so far this season for about 415 yards. So, I mean, not incredible stuff coming from the run game. But then Brian Thomas Jr., he's got for the season 220 receiving yards. That's going to be the big thing, because it looks like, I mean, for LSU, it's going to be Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. How do they do? I think Kyron Lacey was a guy that really stood out to me in the game against Florida State when I did it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they end up doing throughout the rest of this season. And then if you look at Mississippi State here, Will Rogers, 33 of 46, passing the football this season for 389 yards. He's got a 71.7% completion percentage. So, I mean, you look at the contrast here, and the difference between years, Of course, now that Mike Leach is not the head coach at Mississippi State, they're going back to the run game a little bit with Jaquavius Marks. He's ran 43 times for 250 yards. So the big thing here is the big thing I'm wondering is how does Mississippi State's run game do against that defense of LSU? I think that's the big story here. And it'll be interesting to see how the game goes with these two. And so I'll pick it a little bit later. Of course, I did pick through SEC wraparound, but we'll see. And then now turning our attention to Washington and Michigan State. And this game, folks, is going to be a little bit harder to find on television because it's not actually on television. The game is actually streaming on Peacock. So, and it's like a 4 o'clock Central Time kickoff. So that kind of tells you the whole story about if it's going to be easy to find or not. So, so far this season, it's quite obvious that Washington wants to be a pass-heavy team. Michael Penix, he's thrown 57 for 78 in the first two games for already 859 yards. He's got a 73.1 completion percentage. He's thrown 8 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's only been sacked once this season, folks. So, already you can see where Washington wants to go. They want to just be a passing football team. So it should be interesting. And then you look at Michigan State, and I feel like, again, the contrast between teams. Michigan State wants to run the football. Nathan Carter, their leading rusher, 37 carries, 224 yards, 4 touchdowns on the season. Not really a throwing team, although they've thrown the ball 53 times. That's their quarterback, Noah Kim, 36 for 53 for 571. What is the big thing I see from this? I think Washington should win this game. Big thing here is going to be how are they actually, is Washington is it gonna be like the Boise State game where the defense kind of struggled a little bit? Or is this a game where basically Washington just blows Michigan State out? And it is at Michigan State, so that has a little bit to do with it. And then also, there's also been a big distraction with Michigan State throughout the week. We're not going to get into that because it's we don't want to get into that. It's a little bit, can be a little graphic with some of that stuff. So we're not going to get into the issues at Michigan State. But, it's been a big distraction at Michigan State. I think that's going to play a big factor into tomorrow's game with these two. So with that, I have this feeling like Washington should win this pretty big, but we'll see. All right. Real quick, let me go to another commercial break, and then we will be back as soon as the commercial break is over. Be back in a moment. Welcome back to college football wraparound, everybody. So far, we've been able to talk about LSU and Mississippi State. We talked about Washington and Michigan State. So next is Penn State and Illinois. So as I real quick get some stats on them, Penn State and on Illinois. So just bear with me real quick because it'll be just a moment to get that. But this is a game that I feel like also people are kind of not really watching for because it is the game that most people probably are like not really, because I think they've kind of had an idea that it's going to be Penn State. And I think this will be a closer game than what a lot of people want to say it is. So far this season, so far Drew Aller, the quarterback at Penn State, has just been incredible for them. Throwing 43 for 55 so far, 529 yards, folks. So, of course, not as much as Michael Penix, but also he hasn't thrown the ball about as much. He's got a 78.2 completion percentage. Now, of course, you may be saying, oh, they've only played West Virginia and Delaware. Well, here's the thing, folks. It's still impressive to see what he's done so far. Also, if you didn't watch that West Virginia game, some of the throws he made were just ridiculous. I mean, this kid could be a really great quarterback. Of course, I don't want to overreact because it's only been 2 weeks, but it is interesting because he is a really great quarterback. Run game for Penn State, good compliment. I mean, they got a good run game. Katron Allen, 29 carries, 154 yards, a touchdown. Nick Singleton, 25 carries, 117 yards, 4 touchdowns. So, run game is there. And then also a guy to watch out for on the receiving end, Keandre Lambert-Smith. That guy, he's had 10 receptions on the season, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, Penn State is an interesting team. And then you've got Illinois and throwing the football. Luca Altmaier's their quarterback. Now, you may think, wait, that name's familiar. Because it is. He started his career over at Ole Miss. And, of course, he transferred out, came to Illinois. He's 37 for 54, 408 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And then he actually leads the team in rushing. He's carried the ball 22 times for 139 yards. And then as far as the top receiver is Isaiah Williams. He's got 150 receiving yards on 11 catches and no touchdowns yet for him on the season. So what could we see from this Penn State-Illinois game? And here's the big thing, folks. I do think that you got a young quarterback in Drew Aller at Penn State. Well, I don't know about young, but he hasn't started. This is his first year starting. Of course, Sean Clifford was the quarterback for Penn State the last few years. So the big thing here is this could be a trap game for them. And it'll be interesting to see just how he does in this game, because to be fair, this will be a good test in my opinion, because I think that Illinois could really give Penn State some trouble in this game. So it'll definitely be an interesting game. And I really don't know who's going to win the game, but to be honest with you, it'll be close. And Penn State just, I mean, I don't know if they're like, I think we're going to learn a lot. I think we will learn a ton about Penn State when it comes to this game coming up Saturday against Illinois. And then also for Illinois, they they started off terribly against Kansas, ended up nearly coming back to win the game. So how are they going to play against how are they going to play against Penn State? That'll be big. It's a very interesting game in my opinion, and so we'll see how it goes, but it sure will be a very interesting game to say the least. So, all right. Our next game to talk about is Kansas State and Missouri. And so, of course, we've got Kansas State and Missouri to talk about. Then we're going to talk about Minnesota and North Carolina. Then we'll talk about BYU and Arkansas. And then it'll be time for some game picks right here on the channel. So we will get into that. So far this season, what have we seen from these teams? And so the stats right here for Kansas State. Will Howard, 39 for 58, 547. He's got a 67.2 completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So, if you remember from last year, he did a decent job playing quarterback. Of course, he basically, the beginning of the season, it was Adrian Martinez for Kansas State, and then Will Howard beat him out. The big thing that people have been wondering is because and the running back, I can't remember his name from Kansas State from last year, but big thing is they were wondering, how do you replace him? Well, DJ Giddens is their running back. He's carried the ball 27 times, has 180 yards, no touchdowns yet. And then Trayshawn Ward, 27 carries, 114 yards, and he's got a touchdown. Will Howard, 11 carries, 38 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, they found ways to run the ball without that running back, which if anybody in the chat knows who the running back was there last season, that would be greatly appreciated if you could put that in the chat, because we do appreciate good information when it is provided. So, if anybody remembers that running back's name, but then we look at Missouri. Brady Cook, 31 for 40 so far this season, 376 yards. He's got a 77% completion percentage. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions so far for Brady Cook this season. Then if you look at the run game, that's really what Missouri wants to do. Cody Schrader, 41 carries, 222 yards. He's got a touchdown. Nathaniel Pete, 22 carries, 103 yards, a touchdown. Brady Cook's carried it 15 times for 12 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, this game definitely going to be a game on the ground. That's how they want to play this game. And it'll be interesting because just to see who will play better on the ground. And Deuce Vaughn. Okay. Thank you. That was the guy who played running back, and I believe he did end up on the Cowboys. So yes, Deuce Vaughn, incredible running back. If people who follow Kansas State, if I'm not mistaken, he was literally just about he was I mean, that was Darren Sproles 2.0. That was really what Deuce Vaughn was for Kansas State. So that was, of course, a big talent to have there in Manhattan, Kansas. So, I mean, this game, though, it's going to be on a run game, very heavy on the run game. I don't know if it's going to be a fast-paced moving game. I don't see the score being very high because of there's not a lot of scoring that's going to happen. I do want to see how big is it when these teams throw the football? That's going to be the big thing in this game. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't have a winner picked out yet, but I will at the end of the show. But looking at these teams, it's a very even game, and it'll be interesting to see how Missouri does in this game and how Kansas State does in this game. So, all right, we are moving on to Minnesota and North Carolina, and first we're going to start out by talking about Minnesota because they, of course, beat Nebraska to begin the season. And to be honest with you, it was a very bad game as far as offensive-wise. And it really showed how Nebraska wants to play, which is a defensive type of game. And really right now, so the leaders of Minnesota, Ethan Kaliak-Manis, their quarterback, 34 for 59, 313 yards. He's only 57.6% throwing the football. 1 touchdown thrown, 2 interceptions. So not incredible from him, but the run game's what they want. With Darius Taylor and Sean Tyler. Darius Taylor, 34 carries, 196 yards, 1 touchdown. Sean Tyler, 27 carries, 134 yards, no touchdowns. And Kaliak-Manis has a touchdown off of 12 carries and 15 yards. So that's a little bit of how Minnesota wants to play. And then if you look at North Carolina, and really you only have one word, and that is Drake May. 45 of 62, 477 yards, 72% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Drake May. And then Omarion Hampton's a leading run rusher, 42 carries, 271 yards, 5 touchdowns. Leading receiver, Kobe Paysor, 15 receptions, 139 yards, and a touchdown for North Carolina. It's just going to be big about how does Drake May do in this game, and the big question for me is how close will this be in the end for Minnesota? Because is their defense going to be able to hold off just the incredible play of Drake May? We will see. So, it'll be interesting for sure as I get set for my last game to preview. And then it'll be time for some game picks. I may have a guest picker coming on. That'll be fun to see if we do. And if so, that could fill some of the extra time we may have left. So, okay. BYU and Arkansas. Our game coming up tomorrow night at 6:30 here on the channel. So, looking at BYU to begin with, Keaton Slovis. Now, you may be thinking, oh, yeah, Keaton Slovis. Heard of that name. Because he was the quarterback at USC for years. And so then he ended up, if I believe correctly, he ended up transferring to Pitt. And then after going to Pitt, he is now transferred to BYU. where he is now 42 of 65 throwing the football, 493 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception off of 64% completion percentage. So that is a little bit of how he's doing throwing the football. Run game, LJ Martin, 22 carries, 118 yards, no touchdowns. And the leading receiver is the tight end, Isaac Rex, 6 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Another leading receiver, Chase Roberts, 11 receptions, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. And then lastly, Darius Lassiter, 9 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. So the ball distribution from Keaton Slovis is very nicely done. Only thing is they've had some close calls against some teams that they really should have beat pretty bad. Excuse me. So it'll be interesting to just see how BYU does in this game. Of course, Keaton Slovis is huge. So, and then we look at the Arkansas Razorbacks and KJ Jefferson, 31 of 42 for 382 yards so far, 73.8% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then if you look at the run game, AJ Green, the Arkansas back, and he's carried the ball 19 times, 104 yards, no touchdowns. KJ Jefferson, 18 carries, 59 yards, a touchdown. Rashad Dubinion, I believe is how you say that. 13 carries, 49 yards, a touchdown. Raheem Sanders, 15 carries, 42 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Razorbacks. And leading receiver is Isaac Taslay, 6 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Jaden Wilson, he's got 5 receptions, 114 yards, and a touchdown. So that's a little bit about Arkansas. It'll be interesting to see how these teams do. It's going to depend on what does the contrast of Arkansas run the football and then BYU's defense, how does that do? So it'll be interesting indeed to see. So coming up in a second, I'm going to take another commercial break, and then it'll be time after that to go into some game picks so that we can end the show on a high note with our game picks. So we are going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a moment. All right, everybody. What you see there to your right is the game picks records. So I will have some guests here in a minute for and it's the same 2 guests you see there on our game picks records. Jack and Colton will be joining me in just a moment. So of course we will see about that. So real quick though, if you have any questions, go ahead. We have a little bit of time to kill. So if you have any questions regarding college football, please put them in the chat. I can answer them for the next few minutes until it'll be time to do some game picks with my analysts. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat right now because this is your chance to interact with me on college football matters. So, also another thing, while you get your questions typed into the chat, of course, big thing is tomorrow is BYU Arkansas night. So at 6:30, BYU Arkansas should be a very interesting game. So I think it'll be a game where be very interesting. You got a passing quarterback in Keaton Slovis for BYU, and then you just got the big bruiser in KJ Jefferson at Arkansas. So it'll be interesting indeed. So it looks like my analysts are nearly ready. So we will wait on them till they say that they're good to go. All right. So here we are. Colton and Jack are back. How are y'all?
Hello, Cooper.
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
We're
So,
recovering from that bad debate earlier.
yeah.
I'm still winning the record. Look at the records.
I'll fix that. There's still so many more weeks left to fix it.
Yeah, you'll never catch me.
I'm not catching you.
That's
Cooper.
true.
It's all about beating Cooper.
All right, Cooper, let's go.
All right. First games, TCU and Houston. This is tomorrow night. So,
Really?
That's like the worst game.
I don't like neither team, but I'll go with Houston. Got them to play at home.
Oh, okay. I got TCU. I'm trusting Sony. There's nothing really. This is a bad game. I don't care. No one's watching this.
Not even us.
Not even us.
okay. I'm going TCU. I think they're better than Houston. Okay.
You're just copying me again.
You went to Houston. Then you went to TCU.
I went TCU. He went TCU.
I went to Houston.
Oh, I said he's copying
Losers.
me.
Okay. LSU and Mississippi State. Now, I went with LSU during SEC wraparound. So, who were y'all going with?
I went with LSU as well in SC wraparound, so I'll just stick with that.
Well, I guess I'm copying y'all, but I think LSU's just a better team.
All right. So, our next one's Washington and Michigan State.
Washington easily. Much better team.
Okay, Colton.
I'm trying to think. Who even is Michigan State?
Nobody's at Michigan State.
Okay, I'll pick. Who's Washington? I'll pick Washington.
Good pick.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll try.
Yeah, I'm going to go Washington as well. I just think they're too much for Michigan State.
Copycat.
Yeah.
It's an original opinion, so I'm going to have to repeat that every time I have a guest on now. Okay. Penn State and Illinois.
Penn State.
Penn State.
Wow, y'all are very quick on your answers, but I'm going Penn State as well.
We're quick because we're educated.
When it's that easy, you just go quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'll delay it.
When you're smart, you pick quick. When you're not smart, either way. Next.
Okay, Kansas State and Missouri.
I got Kansas State in this one.
I'm going Missouri. SEC.
I'm going Kansas State. I don't think Missouri's going to win.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you picked Missouri, right?
I don't think Missouri's going to win because I'm going Kansas State.
All right, whatever.
Next.
Okay. Minnesota, North Carolina.
UNC. Don't
Yeah.
bet against Mac Brown.
I'm going with the Jordan team. Carolina.
And I'm going North Carolina as well. Drake May's too good.
Can you stop copying us for once in your life? Please?
Original opinion, folks. Original opinion.
It's not original if I said it first.
All right. Tennessee and Florida.
Tennessee.
My heart says Florida, but I'm gonna go Florida. I'm going to upset Florida.
I should have done that. I agree with my heart saying Florida,
I don't
but
like Tennessee like you, Cooper.
I don't either. I want to pick Florida, but I already picked Tennessee in SEC wraparound, and I'm not changing my pick. I'm too loyal to
I'm going
myself.
with Tennessee because I think that they'll have a great game, and people were saying that the Austin P game they look terrible and they have no chance of really doing anything anymore. I say those people are wrong. Tennessee's going to come out and obliterate Florida.
Where's your orange shirt at, Cooper? Your colors are bleeding through.
My goodness. All right.
That's the original thought.
Last game to pick, and I'm calling it tomorrow night, so I will not pick it. So y'all can't call BS on me about that it's copying.
Language.
What game is it?
Yeah, what game?
BYU in Arkansas. Y'all go ahead.
Oh yeah, he's doing that game.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I'll go to Arkansas. I have nothing else to say.
All right, who else is playing? Like, what other games who's Oklahoma playing?
Oklahoma? I don't know. Cooper's Oklahoma
Cooper,
playing.
who's playing who? There has to be more games.
Okay, let me look at this real quick.
There really didn't many good games. Next week's a better game.
I know, yeah.
I mean,
Honestly, there hasn't been any good games this season. Every game's a blowout. Every game that seems like a good game is a blowout.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the bad games are actually good.
Who's Texas play?
That's a good
Texas is
question.
playing Wyoming.
Who you picking?
Come on, Cowboys.
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
You're picking Wyoming.
No, I ain't picking them. I'm rooting for them, though.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I think Texas winning that.
It's like, I could have picked Tennessee.
As much as it hurts me,
as
as much as it hurts me to say Texas is gonna win that game.
Yeah, well, we'd hope not, but
Yeah.
Okay. Is Louisville and Indiana a game y'all want to pick?
What game?
Louisville and Indiana.
They're playing Indianapolis.
All right.
Neutral site, so that should be a pretty decent.
All right,
game.
sure. You go first.
I'll go Louisville. I like your
Louisville.
coach.
Who you got, Cooper?
I got Louisville as well, like Jeff Brom, just
Yeah.
like him.
Copycat.
I'm gonna go Indiana. Just
Opinion, folks. Original opinion.
just to be different. I'm
well,
picking
just let
Indiana.
you know, Cooper, right now, Virginia and Maryland tied them at 14. Almost halftime.
Kind of shocking because Virginia is a terrible football team, but that's kind of shocking that they're tied with Maryland right
Okay,
now.
don't
So-
use the word terrible when you're a non-biased football
True.
source.
You didn't say that. You're supposed to say terrible. How's Charles Barkley say it?
Whatever. Next,
South Carolina and Georgia.
Georgia.
I hate to say it, probably Georgia, but I'm rooting for Carolina.
I hate to say it too, but
Georgia will win.
I'm picking.
By the way, do you have to answer these trivia questions that y'all give out earlier?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh,
What college did Eli Manning play for? That's Ole Miss. Who was Tennessee's season opener in 1998? That's Syracuse. How many national championships did Georgia win in the 20th century? That's 5. And then it was a basketball question, but what was the first year coach that won the national championship for Kentucky in 98? It's Tubby Smith. He had a replacement, which was who was the last team to win 3 straight national championships, which is Minnesota. Auburn beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa 4 times, with 91 total points in those games. How many points did Alabama score? That was 7. And then when was the last time Texas beat Alabama? January 1st, 1982.
All right.
Okay, wait. The total points of Tuscaloosa, say that one again.
Okay, so Auburn beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa 4 times in the 20th century. And then Auburn in those games scored 91 total points in those games. How many points did Alabama score? And that was 7.
In the 20th century.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. But by the way, the Georgia one's wrong. They claimed 6 championships through the 20th century.
Okay. So that was the answer to the trivia questions. And then Colton, to answer your question about who is Oklahoma playing, they are going on the road to Tulsa.
Oh, that should be easy. Oklahoma win.
Yeah, I agree. Oklahoma should do pretty good till about 1st October.
Okay, you know what? Just so that I don't get called copycat anymore, because I'm getting kind of tired of that. But I'm going Tulsa on this game. Sorry, Colton. I
I'm
know you're
disowning you.
but
I'm
I'm going Tulsa for the upset.
He's on opinion to make you mad. He does that all the
I
time.
am disowning you as a brother. Get out of my house.
Good grief.
Yeah. Grief. Not good.
Yeah. So okay, never mind, Cooper. I'll do some Google research.
Okay.
I'll give you better trivia questions.
How about Syracuse and Purdue?
Do we have to?
Yeah, I don't want to pick that game. I think we're good on the game picks.
Yeah, I'm not watching that game either.
Yeah. I don't want to get my
You're,
win total too high.
Your producer we never see that does all the stuff. He probably watching that one.
Which one? Oh, Corey?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We can't get him on camera now.
We'll get him. We'll get him.
We'll get him one day.
Yeah.
We'll put a hidden camera in there. Hope he's listening.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep one eye open.
That is our game
like the breed.
picks and the trivia questions as well being answered for you. But that is all for tonight. We want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my guests for coming on. And, of course, for that, it is College Football Wraparound.
And
anything
remember,
else?
Cooper, I'm still winning. I'm not
Okay.
Charlie Sheen. I'm winning.
And I'm losing.
All right. Well, we will be back later for more College Football Wraparound. Come back tomorrow night at 6:30 for BYU and Arkansas. But for now, thanks for watching, and goodbye, everybody.